everyone, it's Annabelle. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video we're going to be doing a haul of cool growing miniatures, or coolish growing. Some of them are a little bit more warm tolerant, and many of them fragrant, from a nursery that I can't pronounce. So you've seen it up on screen, I'll link it down in the description, and I'm not even going to try and massacre the name. So don't want to offend anyone with a mutilated pronunciation. So in this haul I've got lots of little Masdevallias and Pleurothallis, which I'm getting really into, and I've got my new cool growing setup. So I'm just going to open the box and show you guys what I've got. And that is the name of the nursery. So it's packaged with lots of newspaper, well padded, so it looks really good in terms of that. And I have ordered from them once before, got some really healthy orchids, so I thought I'd give them another go for cool growers. So I'm going to do this video a little bit differently. I'm going to show you the full unpackaging for all of them, and then I will do a more detailed unpackaging for one, and then I will kind of skip through me unwinding parcels so that it doesn't get too long. So hopefully this will be more of an interesting, shorter unboxing video than usual. I'm going to start off with one of the pieces of equipment that I ordered, which is the only kind of equipment that I did order from them. And this is a clay tube that can be used for mounting orchids. You fill the inside with water, and because the clay is kind of porous, the water slowly seeps out through the clay to the orchid. So it's kind of a self-watering mount type system that I've seen be very successful. You kind of seed it with moss first, so that the moss kind of grows on it, and then you put the orchid on it. So I'm going to try and do that. And this one was one that I bought specifically for one of the orchids that I bought, because a lot of people were saying it just doesn't do well potted because of its kind of rambling nature. So we're going to give that a try. I thought that would be really interesting to try out. And I'm going to go for this one first, because this one I can tell is the mounted orchid that I bought, which is the one that people say just does better on mounts, that really struggles in pots. Now, people say this about a lot of orchids that I do grow in pots, but it seemed a fairly common consensus that people just weren't growing these in pots, whereas usually you can kind of find someone who's growing in a pot. Even if it's not that successful, people just weren't trying with this one. So I kind of felt like that was a message I should probably receive. So this one is a really cute little succulent leaved miniature called Meiracyllium trinasutum, and hopefully I pronounced that correctly. It's supposed to have a lovely fragrance of sweet cinnamon, and it's got the cutest little purple flowers, and I just love its kind of succulent rounded leaves. This one is looking a little bit dehydrated, but it's got signs of new growth and new roots, so hopefully that'll be okay. You can see a new root just there. The old roots do look kind of dead from what I can see, but we'll give it a go. It's a kind of warm growing miniature, intermediate to warm from what I can gather, so I think this is probably going to go up in my orchid room, although we'll see, because in summer it's quite warm in my little cool growing corner. And I think that'll fit quite nicely on this clay tube. This is the small size clay tube, and it is quite small. I was expecting it to be a little bit bigger, so bear that in mind. It probably would have been better for me to get the bigger one, but we're going to go with this. And a spider, Grace, he can go elsewhere. I won't kill him, but... So the next one we're looking at, it looks like it's a Masdevallia. Oh, this is the Masdevallia datura, which is supposed to be a super fragrant one. Even Orchid Species says very fragrant, and it's kind of renowned for its fragrance, so that's why I picked it. It's not the easiest one to get hold of. It's got large white trumpet shaped flowers, and on large specimens it can be super impressive with the displays it puts out. This is obviously quite a well established specimen. It looks quite a reasonable size. So it's supposed to be very fragrant, but I can't find much reference to what the fragrance is. I think it's kind of floral and sweet. Obviously we'll see. Got a few little new growths I can see there, so looks quite healthy and well established. So the next one is a little Pleurothallis. Their Pleurothallis are listed under the old kind of names of Anathallis, I think. So this one is Pleurothallis. Oh, this was listed as just the Pleurothallis species yellow. It's obviously one they've lost the ID for, but from the image they provided, I believe it's quadrifida, which I got because quadrifida is supposed to be one of the very fragrant Pleurothallis species. So I'm kind of going out on a little bit of a limb here. It might not be that, but just from the image they provided, I think it possibly is. It's another little Pleurothallis, I think. Pleurothallis linearifolia, and this is listed as Anathallis on their website, but Orchid Species now calls it Pleurothallis, so I think it is currently Pleurothallis linearifolia. And it's got super cute sprays of flowers I absolutely love. I'm getting really into Pleurothallis. I think they're kind of underrated, but I really enjoy them, and they're quite easy to grow. So this is a Masdevallia decumana, which was super expensive, but I just fell in love with it. And the video they have up on their website of a specimen plant that has so many flowers is just wonderful. I definitely recommend going and checking that video out. I'll link it down in the description. Oh, and this one is Masdevallia guttulata, and this is supposed to be a more warm growing or warm tolerant Masdevallia. Orchid Web lists this as warm growing. I'm not sure that any Masdevallia is technically warm growing, but it definitely looks like it's more warm tolerant. It's a kind of sequential bloomer. This looks like a new flower spike actually. It's not bloomed before, so we might even get flowers soon. But the old spikes will continue to produce flowers from what I've read. And Orchid Web lists this as having honey scented flowers. So other places just describe it as fragrant. Hopefully it is kind of honey or sweet scented. But yeah, it looks like it can put on quite an impressive display because it keeps blooming off old spikes, which is really cool. And the fact that it's more warm tolerant might make it more suited to home environments. So a lot of the Masdevallias I've picked are fragrant or reportedly fragrant, and where possible I've tried to list what the fragrance is supposed to be like. Some places just say fragrant, so it's difficult to tell for those. So this is another Pleurothallis, and this is Pleurothallis pabstii, and it's reportedly got fragrant flowers, and it's got super cute foliage actually, which I didn't realise. It's almost grass-like, but it's really sweet, and on large specimens the display can be super impressive for this guy, so I'm very excited for that. And some of these Pleurothallis are listed as more intermediate growers. I'll obviously put the names in the descriptions and you can Google them. So this is Masdevallia estradae, and again it's supposed to have fragrant flowers, but I can't find a description of the fragrance. Quite a small compact Masdevallia there, like the decumana. You can see there's quite a lot of diversity, and this package looks huge. So I've left this for last intentionally, and absolute monstrosity of a Masdevallia here. So this is Masdevallia coccinea, and it's a cool to cold growing one. I couldn't stop myself. Masdevallias are like sweets for me, and they're just so gorgeous, and finding that I can grow them, I decided to go for this one because on a large specimen the display is just like, it looks like a field of wildflowers. They're so vibrant and pink and beautiful, and they're just such an impressive plant. But look at how large this plant is compared to some of the other Masdevallias. There's real diversity within the Masdevallia genus. It gets very large to very small, so the tag's kind of warm, but it says coccinea extra or something. I don't know if this refers to the plant size or something, but yeah, looks very healthy anyway. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the paper off the top of the pots here, because sometimes that can be hiding little surprises, sometimes good, sometimes bad. And on the decumana I've actually found a couple of new growths, as you can see there. There's a new growth starting there, so you can see it's a new leaf that's going to start, but I actually got 2 flower spikes that I found, so hopefully they don't blast and we can get a preview of the flowers soon, because they are absolutely stunning and huge in relation to the size of the plant. Not reportedly fragrant, but I couldn't resist. This was supposed to be kind of a more fragrant minis haul, but it's just so beautiful I couldn't stop myself. So we got 2 little spikes there plus some new growth, so that's exciting. While Masdevallias are typically cloud forest growers that grow up in high elevation mountains in Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, they are pretty intolerant to very high temperatures or drying out. There are some species that are more intermediate growing, but for the most part they're cool to cold growing. So periods of excessive heat can be kind of mediated in the short term by lower night temperatures. They can get through it, but in the long term they kind of need at least a drop to cool in night to be able to survive, because they basically, their whole metabolism is adapted to being cool to cold growing, and they just kind of burn themselves out if kept really warm continuously. But if they can get a drop in night temperatures, they can manage, and they can certainly withstand summers as long as they've got that kind of winter period to recover. So I'm just showing you the Masdevallia guttulata, which is the one that's the sequential bloomer with the honey scented flowers apparently. So that one's looking pretty good. I'm super excited for when it does bloom. Hopefully it will. And this one here is the Masdevallia datura, which is the one with the large white trumpet shaped fragrant flowers, which I'm super excited about. And this one's looking really healthy, and we've got quite a lot of new growths at the base there, which is exciting. So that's the datura. And then I'm just going to show you one of the little Pleurothallis. So this one's super cute. So this is the Pleurothallis pabstii, and this has got cute slender leaves. I really love it. It seems super healthy as well. And this is the Pleurothallis species yellow. No flower spikes to kind of show immediately, and it does seem to have a slightly climbing nature. So I'm a little bit worried about that, but I believe that is quadrifida, so hopefully it's got some fragrant flowers. And I've got my little mounting tube, which I'm excited to try out. I'm going to seed some moss on that to start with before I mount an orchid, because I feel like it's going to be easier to get the moss started first on that one. Really happy with my cool growing miniature haul from this nursery, and they all seem super healthy. I'm excited to kind of expand my Masdevallia and Pleurothallis collection, because up until recently I wasn't even that confident that I could grow them well, and it's only in the last year since I kind of started potting them into Ceramis that I've really kind of got into them and noticed that they're doing really well for me and wanted to get more. They're kept in my north facing lounge in a little cool corner of the lounge under LED lights, which I've recently updated the display for, and they get temperatures in Celsius of around winter 18 to 23 Celsius in the day usually, and nights go down to sort of 14 degrees Celsius, and then summer tends to be sort of 16 to 18 degrees Celsius at night, maybe 25 to 30 Celsius in the day. They've got a little fan on them, and the humidity stays around 70%. I keep them in a self-watering pot with a mix of Ceramis, which is a clay media which holds more water than leca, mixed with some leca, with a ceramic outer mask for many of them, which helps to obviously decrease the temperature around the root zone, so it helps them to get through my summers a little bit better, and they seem to do really well in this setup. I think in summer, if you are growing them warmer, one thing that they absolutely need is constant moisture around the root zone, even to the point of standing them in a little tray of water so they don't dry out, because if the humidity is not as high as they would like and the temperatures are higher than they would like, they're going to be losing a lot of water. So it's really important to keep them hydrated and try and give them a night drop in temperature to kind of compensate for that. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, then don't forget to give it a like or subscribe to my channel for more regular orchid updates, and I will see you guys later. Bye!